I don't think he had a gun, but he definitely had handcuffs. um, so he saw me put one up, and he said, "Have you been doing this around the campus?" I said, "Yes, sir." I didn't know it wasn't allowed or anything. He said, "Yeah, it was you. Just come with me." And so he turned around and started walking, and I halfway considered not following him because I'm still a young, not I'm barely out of my teens here, so I'm not exactly nice. I'm a little rebellious. Just human. That's the way humans work. You cannot focus on a negative. You have to focus on a positive. Uh, and that's not self-positive mumbo jumbo. It's like you literally, if you are focused on, I don't want to, I better not click on pornography. I better not click on pornography. I better not say use cuss words. You're going to be self-conscious and accidentally do it. But if
Mm,
you're focused on God, focusing on Him and your mind's on Him, you're less likely to do that. Try to keep myself filled with the Spirit, filled with God, and always keep my mind on Him because the more I'm in touch with God, the less I sin. Um, like it's even the secular scientists, people who don't believe in God, have proven this. Like if you tell yourself, "Don't think of pink elephants," "Don't think of pink elephants," "Don't think of pink elephants," you're gonna think of pink elephant. You can't
mm.
like mentally. Alrighty.
Uh, Hello, this is Soul Winning 101, and I have a special guest, Caleb. I'm gonna mess up your last name, Nicholson,
Nichols, you're right.
Nichols. Okay, I was like, um, could you show like your testimony and your ministries?
Sure. Yes, sir. Um, I was saved a long time ago, it seems now, but I still remember it pretty well. I saved when I was 9 years old. There, just during that time, I just been questioning, asking questions, and I've been going to church for all my life. So I heard the gospel several times before I finally said yes to it. But eventually, I did when I just God was speaking to me saying, you know, uh, I knew I was a sinner and that I needed to come to Him. So I accepted Jesus into my heart and got saved. But when I was 9 years old, back in third grade, it was just a little country church. We went to church there all the time as a kid, and I that was just the only world I knew. So and I got saved. Yeah, eventually accepted it at 9.
Amen. And what about your ministries?
Yes, sir. The ministry, the main one that I'm in right now is the Fundamental Baptist Books. I started doing that one when I had just graduated from high school, and the man who founded it, he is good friends with my dad, and he was needing some help over the summer,
Mhm.
and so I started to travel with him for a few months. And then it was great, had a great time. I started college that fall, and I still went back and forth on the weekends to help him out. And then after I finally graduated, went into it full time, and that was almost 10 years ago now. So it's
Man.
been a long time.
Yeah, amen. So you would say you're pretty experienced soul winning, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I more on the witnessing than the winning. Uh,
Yeah.
I plant a lot of seeds. Haven't seen as much fruit from them, but on
Hmm.
occasion, yeah.
Yeah, it's the bet. That's what a lot of people don't understand when they go out soul winning. They may not see people get saved, but they may think, oh, they failed because nobody got saved that day. But it's it's more than get people seeing people saved. It's people witnessing to people, like you said, and planting that seed because then somebody else will water the seed and hopefully get this what is it called? Uh, forget harvest the seed.
Yes.
Couldn't
Uh,
think of it for a second.
yeah, that's a Bible verse there. What was it? Apollos watered, and Paul planted, but God gave the increase. Something like
Yes, yeah, and what we was talking about before we start recording was you were saying like it's but we have to meet the person in the spiritual. It doesn't matter if we give them an hour evidence or anything like that. It's where you have to like you said, hang up. Could you explain that a little bit, kind of like how you did to me earlier?
yes, sir. Excuse me. Well, I had been dealing with the same question on how to win people because I'd before this I was just putting out gospel tracks and talking to people, and I didn't see any results, and so I was asking for help.
Mhm.
And I knew this Christian. He was an atheist for many years. He became a scientist, saw the evidence, and now he's a Christian.
Mhm.
And I asked him the question, like, what is the easiest way to win someone to Christ? And he said it's not so much the evidence you have for the Bible, all the Greek manuscripts we can bring and show people. That's not really what they want. Um, what you need to find people where they're at and figure out what they need because mean uh, they we can give we could give an hour long uh, lecture on why the Bible is true, but most people don't care about that. What's on their mind is a friend of theirs that committed suicide last week or a few weeks ago, and they were a really great person, or maybe they weren't. And maybe they were a Christian and they thought that, like, if that friend had it all figured out, they thought they'd, but, or maybe they were hurt by someone who was supposed to be a protector and they failed at that. And so, figuring out where somebody is before you give them the gospel, because uh, not everybody is at the same place spiritually. Like some people have never heard about Jesus's name or anything, but other people, you hear stories of people who, like a preacher. I know a preacher, heard one last week. He said he didn't want to go witness to somebody, but God told him to. And so he did, and he tried to just give him a gospel track and leave. And the guy said, "No, no, no, please explain." He was a Muslim, and yeah, apparently the Muslim had just been praying. He said he was praying, and he said, "Allah, I don't believe in you," and I can't do a Muslim accent, so I'll that. And he said, "I can't, don't believe in you. You've never helped me, and after reading about you in the Quran, I think you're quite cruel." And then he said, "If there is a God out there in the universe, please speak to me right now so I can know who you are." And it like there is 20 seconds later, the preacher was there with that gospel track. And the preacher, he was in a hurry. He had a meeting to get to. And so he was trying to leave, kept trying to leave. And there's like, "No, no, please stay and explain." And the guy got saved,
Amen.
joined a church nearby. So it's really cool.
And that's why, like, I know some people they don't believe in this thing called divine appointments, but like that right there, what you just explained with that Muslim is that was a divine appointment right there,
Yeah.
and that's one reason it's very important for us to go out soul winning, that and witnessing and telling people about Christ, because we may not think like that preacher didn't think nothing about it, was trying to leave, like you said, and it God still used that, and the guy got saved.
Amen. Yes, sir. And so, yeah, just figuring out where people are at is the best thing I can say.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it's easy to start, like, I posted something Christian on Facebook the other day, and it's easy to start going back with the haters. Uh, and like I've tried witnessing to the trolls, I suppose you could say, on Facebook. It usually doesn't work. They,
Yeah. I
it,
try to. Oh, sorry. You go.
okay. Well, in the most of the time, it turns out, I mean, they probably lie, but they say they were a Christian for 20 years. They're a preacher. They can read Greek, Hebrew, um, and now they went to Buddhism, and now they're an atheist or something. And so you try to witness to somebody like that, and they're uh, like, I have never met a humble atheist online.
Oh, me either.
All of the atheists online, or at least the professed atheists, are arrogant and mean.
Yeah.
Like kindness doesn't cost much. Yeah,
Yeah. I got cussed out by a couple of them, and I was like, "What's the point?"
exactly.
Yeah.
Just you can't, like, there's some people who don't want to be won, and
Hmm.
especially online, you just gotta leave them alone. Uh,
Yeah.
they'll they're not afraid of anything behind that screen.
Oh yeah. And the one thing with that is you can't get discouraged because that's what they trying to get you to do. Is they gonna lie. They may even lie and say, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that, and this is why," and just try and make you like, "Oh, make the guy stop doing it." Like I hear churches nowadays. Some churches there's like sodomites or like people who try to tear down churches on that, and the church was strong enough to keep going.
Yeah,
And that's what we need. We need more Christian, more believers to do that. Because I know believers who get little hate, little persecution, and just leave the faith.
yeah, it's sad, but yeah, especially like people our age, like uh, I don't, I don't really have an answer, I guess, for it, but people our age, I mean, whenever they leave high school and they go to college, they're not prepared for the atheist teacher who will criticize them for their faith.
Oh yeah. I guess the only thing I could think of is like they go to church, they go and all that. They read the Bibles, but they really not digging deep. I guess you could say. Oh, they never not really digging deep, but like never had that somebody challenge the faith before. And
Right.
like luckily, I know this might sound kind of weird to say, but I'm blessed to had that challenge in my freshman year. And I had the science teacher twice a day. And this guy hated me. This guy tried to call me out so much about my faith on that because he would try to teach like evolution and all that. And like he would have it on like a test, and I would put the opposite. I would put what creationness is, and he was like, "Boy," and he like give like I barely passed that class. I got like I think D's in that class or something like that because I had him in forensics as well. And
Oh,
yeah, and he put me with some. It was just funny. And I tried to witness to him multiple times, and I would give him tracks, and then later I would see it ripped up in the trash can. I was okay. And like I had people my in middle school, I would always bring my Bible, and they would. I had one lady who slapped my Bible in my hand, and yeah, and
wow.
it's so I've been through some small like I haven't been through like the most crazy persecution, but I would say I'm luckily been through some, so I can be trained to get used to it. I guess you would say. Like I got threatened to get shot at going so winning, police called,
Wow.
almost got drugged one time. That's why you don't accept drinks or food. from people.
Definitely not. I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah, yeah. Kentucky's a weird place sometimes.
Uh, yeah, just don't eat any marijuana brownies.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not a big deal nowadays, but it was for a little while.
yeah. One time, that's a funny story. You brought that up. Me and my one of my friends, my soul winning partner, went out and they get this person invited us in and we was talking and he offered us a brownie and I thought it was off. It like looked weird. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then his room and then my buddy's like, I'm okay. And then that guy's friend said, hey, you got those weed brownies done yet? And I was like, I just thought to myself, I was like, oh, I'm so happy I didn't take those. But luckily, that guy was saved afterwards. That was probably about 5 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some funny stories. But you got any soul winning stories or witnessing stories?
Yeah, I've got a few. Back like here's two. Back when I was just kind of starting out, I didn't really want to confront people. And so I would just put gospel tracks everywhere, like in the handles at gas pumps, at the gas stations, and beer coolers. Go inside, even if didn't buy anything, I'd go put a few gospel tracks somewhere around in the store, especially the beer cooler handle. And so one time I did have to buy something, but first I did my ritual of going back there, putting a gospel track out, um, and putting it there. And so I went to go buy my thing, got done, went and paid for it. And as I was walking out, a guy from the back said, "Hey, look at this!" And he didn't even talk to me at all. He just talked to the lady at the cash register. He did. I guess he didn't assume it was me, but I stayed to watch. And he said, "Hey, look at this!" And it was on the beer cooler. And the lady's like, "I can't believe somebody would put that there." And the guy said, "Well, me and my buddy, we'll go read this thing over a beer and talk about it." I said, I didn't say it out loud, but I thought, well, at least you'll read it.
Yeah, uh, yeah. At least he read it, right?
Oh, yeah. And I just thought of another one while I was saying that. Uh, there was another place. I was working a construction job at this one subdivision, and I was there for like 6 months. So I would get lunch at this one gas station, and I would put gospel tracks on the handles, a few in the store, not a lot, but always on the handles, on both handles, and even on the little ad up top. So I'd put out 4 tracks each time at least. And so one day I went in for lunch, and they sent the little 17-year-old girl out to me and said, "You can't put tracks out anymore." And I was like, "What?" I mean, this girl was probably 4 feet tall, maybe four and a half. And I thought, I was sweet to her because she's not in control. She's just getting minimum wage there. But I thought that low life manager, he should be out here telling me this. He don't make the little 17-year-old teenager tell me. Uh, so uh, I said, okay, well, thank you. And obviously, I put some on the handle before I left. Uh, but I thought, well, I'm about done with this area anyway, so I just decided not to buy lunch there anymore. I thought, well, if you don't want my money, I'll leave. But at least I made it. I made an impact because
Yeah.
apparently, my guess is someone saw it on the security footage and figured out it was me because I always look around and see if anybody's watching me. And
Oh yeah.
just have it so I can go give them one if they're watching. But yeah, uh, but one on another story on more in person. it was also at a gas station, but I was putting them in the gas handle pumps, and I just felt I should talk to this one older guy. He looked to be in his 50s, maybe early 60s, but probably 50s. Looked, I think he was wearing like the red plaid shirt, something like that. But anyway, he and I tried talking to him some, and then I was talking to him about hell. He said, "Well, you don't want to go to hell, right? You've heard that growing up." Uh, he might have been Catholic, I can't remember, but he said, "Well, me and my buddies, I've always thought about hell, and I thought me and my buddies will have a party in hell. My buddies are partying down there now, so I'll go join them when I'm gone." And I didn't even think really what to say. I was just so stunned, and I thought, "Sir," or I said, "Sir, don't you know what's in hell?" I said, "It's fire." He's like, "Hey, no, and he's like, I said, "It's fire, and it's black fire, fire that gives no light." And at that point, I had never scared a man, but he got scared for like 3 seconds. Like you could see it in his eyes. He was just really scared. And then he brushed it off with sauce. So I'm pretty sure when I gave him the track, he kept it. So I don't know. I prayed for him for several weeks afterwards, but I never saw him again.
Hey, he might be saved now though with that little scale.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because in the black fire thing, because I had heard a preacher say that hell was, on fire,
Mhm.
but it also talks about it being a place of darkness in the Bible. And so I looked up fire, and I don't know if it's true, but whatever Google told me was that black fire is really hot. If you heat up fire hard enough, it turns black. And so, but it doesn't give out as much light. So I thought, oh, that's probably what hell is like. And so that's what came to mind when I was talking to him.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I don't know if that's scientifically true now, but that's what Google said.
Hey, and Google's never wrong, right?
Exactly, especially with their AI.
Oh yeah, 100%. And let's see. Remember, in the notes, it talks about Philip,
Yeah,
and in the book's Acts, like he was in a revival, right?
right.
And God told him to go to the desert with the F and I'm pronouncing this. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Can you pronounce it right?
Ethiopian.
Yes. The that unit and the guys got saved and in the house. And actually, I don't know if you knew this, but personally, I know somebody, Bull John Hyde. He knows people from Ethiopia that got saved from that unit, unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know any specifics, but I had been told that the eunuch went back to his Ethiopia and witnessed to people, and that it was part of the early church there.
Oh yeah.
That's what
And that.
I didn't know any specifics. But go
Oh
ahead.
yeah. And that's just like I think it was Patrick Boy I was talking about the ripple effect of soul winning is you may lead somebody to the Lord and then they tell other people and then other people tell other people and then you get me and you or you get all these other people who save just because of this one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how I got saved is my buddy Preston. He knocked on my door. I was like, "Hey, you want to come to a teen revival?" I said, "Sure. What is it?" He was like, "You can win Nerf guns." I said, "Oh, I came for a Nerf gun,"
Oh
and
yeah.
I got way more than that afterwards. I got salvation. I got saved that day, and then sadly he's out of church now. But if he wasn't in church then, I wouldn't be you.
Wow.
Yeah, and just like how Philip didn't stay at the revival. He went he went to the desert to witness. That's why we should go anywhere and everywhere, like how you was doing with putting. tracks anywhere you go. Doesn't matter what. Even if somebody confronts you and all that. Like the 17-year-old girl, right?
Yes, yes. I try to be nice to people who are nice to me, or
Oh yeah.
generally nice to people anyway, like that.
Yeah. One time this is funny to tell this story, but when me and my buddy Andrew we went out sewing a couple weeks ago. And this lady, she was she's knocking on doors in Shepherdville. And she was like she didn't even knock on the door yet. I was knocking on another person I was talking to. And she came out and said, I'm going to call the police. I was like, okay, ma'am. I was like, why? She was like, because you're soliciting. I was like, ma'am, may I give you this? She's like, no. I was like, I'm not selling enough. I said, I don't care. The police is coming. I said, okay. And she went inside. I put a track on the door, and then we went to a different building.
Yep.
And the only bad thing about that story is I was witnessing to a kid, and he was very receptive. But when that lady came out, his brother came and picked him up, and he's like, "No, you're not listening no more." And that kind of hurt, but he kept the track.
That's good.
But that's a funny thing. That's when we got down the stairs, and another person who who was in didn't answer the door yet. Lowered down the window. This has happened in less than 10 minutes. Lowered down the window and said, I don't come to your church and what is it called? Sacrifice a goat or like a lamb or something. And I was like, what? She was like, I'm a Satanist. I was like, okay. Can I come back up there and talk to you real quick? She's like, no. I was like, my goodness. It's like, you got a track on the door. He just gave me a dirty look. I was like, okay. And you have any like do you have those type of people like that? You live in like what Indiana area?
Yes, sir. I live close. It's in Indiana, but close to Louisville. So,
Okay.
like I go to Louisville a lot. So,
Mhm. Do you have any of those type of situations that will happen to you?
well, back when I was at college, it was a secular college.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I would put out gospel. There were these bulletins they were everywhere around the whole campus, and so I would put at least one gospel track on it everywhere every time I passed one because it was free use. You didn't have to pay for it.
Mhm.
Anybody could use the tax, and it's just announcements about the college or businesses for students. So I just put tracks up there all the time. Well, about halfway through one semester, I kept doing that, and so I've started seeing these atheist tracks. I didn't know atheists had tracks.
I didn't either.
But this guy made a few. Looked like he printed them off a printer. They weren't the best, but mine weren't expensive tracks either, so I can't say much there. So every place I put a track, he would always put one right beside it. So naturally, I took every single one that he printed home with me, showed my dad, at least the ones that weren't duplicates, just to say, hey, I didn't know they had them. To see what the guy said in the track, see if it was, any sound arguments other than arrogant stuff. And so, yeah, so that went on for a while. Then finally, I think the term for it is SRO officer, whoever does security at the school.
Okay.
He looked, he wasn't a police officer, but he was wearing some sort of uniform. And I don't think he had a gun, but he definitely had handcuffs. um, so he saw me put one up and he said, have you been doing this around the campus? Said, yes, sir. I didn't know it wasn't allowed or anything. He said, yeah, it was you. Just come with me. And so he turned around and started walking, and I halfway considered not following him because I'm still a young, not I'm barely out of my teens here, so I'm not exactly nice. I'm a little rebellious to authority that's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
That's I have issues with that. Uh, but anyway, um, so I followed him anyway, and he took me to the college's version of the principal. I think she was the principal. And so she was really nice, but she did ask me not to be putting those out. She said, I like what you're doing and I like those tracks, but I would have rather you not put them out so that other guy stops.
Mm,
So I thought, well, why don't you find the other guy? Just make him stop. I don't know that I said that because I wasn't very good at articulating my thoughts.
yeah.
Still working on it. But yeah, so I toned it down a little bit, like didn't put any out for a week. Then I put one out on one floor, one each floor, maybe one track, not as many, almost not hiding them, but just one track in a corner on one of the boards. So I kept doing it, putting them out, just not beside the principal's office.
Now one on the door.
Yeah, yeah, nah, I didn't. Yeah. So I never met that other guy.
Never did. What if it was an SOR officer?
I have a feeling he would have been more mean,
Yeah.
but he was very professional. Like,
Okay.
yeah, he was a very professional. Like the apparently it been they he had the principal whoever they've been talking about it over coffee. Hey,
Mm,
we found a religious track and then we found an anti-religious track. What do you want us to do about it when if it pops up? I'm thinking that's what happened, but
yeah.
yeah,
It's
I just left home and it was fine.
it's funny. I have a similar story that happened in high school.
Mhm.
So I'm not proud of this part. I just think it's funny. So my freshman year in football, we was collecting milks on that, and then I collect like 200 milks a day, probably something like that. So I used to be called Milkman, and I made a joke and I said it's a milk mafia. So, but besides that, people it's sad. I had to stop it because people was getting in fights because of milks. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it was kind of dumb at that point. So when I guess you could say step down, I start instead of taking milks, I would just give each person the track. And when that happened, I gave it to the person who slapped my Bible on my head in my middle school year.
Oh, okay.
And I gave it, completely forgot about it. And she looked at me. She looked up and down at me. I was like, okay, am I about to get kicked? And I was like, I was nervous because like she was wearing like those hoop earrings, blue hair, those like those gothic eyelashes on that. And I was like, here you go. And I went to walk away. She's like, wait. I was like, okay. Like kind of like what happened to you with with that Muslim. Oh, not you, but that preacher with the Muslim.
Yeah.
I was nervous because like I was still what I think 14, 15. And I was like, okay. I said, what's up? Why you want me late? She was like, I want to say sorry to you. I was like, why? And I thought she was like gonna whip it in half or something. And she
Oh,
was like, no, she was like, I was remember middle school? I was like, no. She was like, yeah, I was the one who slapped the Bible out of your hand. I was like, oh, okay. I forgot about that. And she was like, yeah, can you forgive me? I was like, yeah, of course. And when I said that, she opened her eyes. And she was like, nobody said that to me before. And I was like, oh. So, and I was like, so may I ask you this? Are you 100% sure that you're going to heaven someday? She was like, be honest, no. And then I was able to lead her to the Lord. I don't
that's
know if she,
awesome.
yeah. And it was just, I don't know. It's just a funny, weird story because 5 minutes later, or 5 minutes before that, a guy tried to punch me to get milk. And 5 minutes after that, um, there was three guys on him. And like that,
The
this
three
was
guys tried to beat that.
yeah, like jump on them because I had bodyguards, I guess you could say. And
Oh,
yeah, and I told him it's okay. I gave him the milk anyways, and then I was talking to this lady, and I just looked. We both looked, and it was like these guys on top of him. I was like, "Hey, get off of them." There was no point. And then the principal ran up. He's like, "What's happening?" I was like, "I don't." I was just giving out tracks, and he saw the track in the lady's hands. She was like, "Are you the one who's doing this?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can I have one?" I was like, "Sure." And then he posted it on his door,
oh, okay.
and then he got filed a year later.
Ah, for
Yeah,
that or something else.
no clue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no clue. I left the school that year too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but that's popped in my mind. When I left the school, I went to my church's school, Vision Valley, and in the summer, the police officer came at my door and was like, "Are you going to school?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, at my church, you want to call my pastor?" She was like, "Yeah," and then called my pastor, and then got everything figured out. But I gave him a track. He, if I looked in his car, I think it was whipped up though. But that was the fun part. But like, when you say though, it's better to at least give somebody a track than just not give somebody a track.
Yeah. Because yeah, it's always better. I mean, if they'll take it, they might read it later, and that'll be a seed that you might not ever see,
Oh
and
yeah,
but it'll come up later.
yeah. And like something too is to that point is that's why we shouldn't be ashamed of the gospel. We shouldn't be ashamed of Jesus because let's say we don't give that person a track or don't talk to that person. Who's going to tell? Who's going to tell him? Who's going? Who's going? How is he going to read it if they never got one?
Yeah, exactly. I
So
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just a little something is better than nothing.
Oh yeah. And like I was talking to Jaden earlier, he gave me some verses like he mainly uses. Like he uses I think he said mostly the Romans road like Romans 6:23, Romans 3:23, Romans 10:9, Romans 10:13, and Romans 10:14. None of that. And do you have any verses besides the Romans road that you can think of that's good to memorize?
Hmm. The whole Bible.
Okay.
Um,
Spiritual smackdown right there.
oh, I fall short of it myself.
Yeah.
I have, I haven't memorized any of the, not none. I mean, none of the full books. Like I started to try to memorize Proverbs,
Mhm.
and I didn't. I read it through at least 30 times in 1 year.
Really?
But yeah, I read it that many times, and so I recognize all the verses, but I can't quote it to you.
Okay.
Like if you start reading three verses, I can probably tell you where it is in the book.
Let's test that out.
Okay. I wouldn't mind to try. I might fail,
Okay,
but we'll
let's do
see.
it. Let's see. Let me just go to like Bowman something. No,
Of
let's
course.
see. You said Proverbs? All right.
Yeah, Proverbs.
Let's see it. There's an odd verse. No, that's Psalms. I just went to Psalms on accident. Okay, here you go. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day many bring forth.
What's the verse after it?
Let other men praise thee, and not. thy own mouth, a stranger not and not thy own lips.
Okay. Hmm. It's got to be between chapters 1 and 9.
Little higher,
A little higher? Ah, different.
more the end of the book of Proverbs. I know
Oh,
what you're
okay.
thinking of though. It's close to that.
Okay.
Verse, the next verse after this, the second one I said is a stone is heavy and the sand is heavy, but a full wrath is heavier than both of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. It's, yeah, like the last four somewhere. It's like 29, 20, or 30, I'm guessing.
He was close. It's 27.
27?
One,
Okay.
verse 1 through 3. He was
Okay.
being boastful. No.
I was being boastful, yes. I
I'm,
didn't think I was, but yeah.
I'm joking.
Oh, I know.
Uh, don't worry. The Lord's gonna put me in my place in a second.
Oh, no. Lord, you don't have to do that.
I just hope this tornado don't get me now.
No, 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 oh, no. That'd be bad. No one would ever do a podcast with me again.
Yeah. Uh, so one of my favorite verses to use is is John 10:28, and it says, I am give unto thee eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. And it just shows that the Lord never we can never lose our salvation. What is your what I know you're gonna say the whole Bible probably, but what is probably one of your favorite verses?
Um, for soul winning, I usually will quote them John 3:16.
Okay.
See how they react to that. If they react to it great, then I'll tell them some more, tell them some more, probably either John or Romans, give them the more traditional salvation Romans road. Um, if they say something off color or they're not pleased with that, then I'd probably uh like if they say God isn't actually good, or like if they say God isn't just, he allows sin and he does wicked things, then I'd probably take them to Deuteronomy,
Okay.
because that's like the Deuteronomy is like reading that plus knowing like the verse that says my heart is, or sought a man after my own heart, and he meant David. Looking at the life of David in Deuteronomy, I from what I can tell is figuring out who God is as a person.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest way to, because like Deuteronomy, it's a lot of it's just dealing with the law and like what God likes, what he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a verse that talks about when two men are fighting and a woman tries to intervene and grabs a man by well she can try to hurt him really bad,
Mm-hmm.
try to in favor of her husband or whatever. And God says no, but he says punish the woman. And so okay, so God wants fair fights. Whenever there's a fight to be had, God wants it to be fair. And then you can just extrapolate and do that a bunch of times with all those other laws and say, oh, so God likes it this way, not that way. And then looking at David's life. Sorry, that's a long tangent to say. See, like God is good. So we'd
Mm-hmm.
go there, but then they'd be like I'm not good enough to go to heaven. Then we go to Paul, and I say how horrible Paul is. You know, he killed people, he murdered people, he was an ancient world terrorist. He sought people and killed them for their religion, not just men but the women too.
Oh
And then
yeah.
God saved him. If God can save him, he surely can save you.
Oh yeah.
And that's then just seeing how they react. I've had some people, and tell them about that, they're they still say, "Oh, I'm worse than Paul." No, you're not.
unless you killed hundreds of people.
And
And
uh, there are very few people who can say that today.
yeah, because they probably ain't alive.
Yeah, exactly. They ain't alive or they're in jail on death row and
Oh yeah.
like that. And you have to. There's red tape to get to those people.
Oh yeah. The main voice I use is like when they say I'm not when they said I'm not a sinner or something like that is Romans 5:12. It says, "Wherefore as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned." And it was like, "What man?" And I was like, "Adam." And then I go through Genesis and all that, and then some people slammed the door on me, kicked the door 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like a Kentucky thing, I guess. They kick the door after they slam it on you. I don't.
Maybe in
I don't
Indiana
know.
they could slam it.
Yeah, like at one time, I know I kind of went off a goose chase in a second, but
It's okay.
the guy, we was in a trailer park, and I was like, "Hello, sir. I'm from Vision Valley Baptist Church. My name is Bill. They haven't I was like, "How's your day been?" He's like, "Pretty good. How about you?" I was like, "That's good. Do you go to church?" And he was like, he gave me a look. I was like, "Do you go to church?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'm looking for you then." And he gave me his like, "What do you mean I'm looking for me?" I was like, "Well, anyways, more Portland than church or anything like that." Because I made a joke. I was like, "It looks like you're about to kill me," and probably shouldn't have made that joke because he gave me a look again.
Mm.
I was like, "Are you 100% sure that you're going to heaven?" Right when I said heaven, he slammed the door. The door clacked, first off. Yeah, he
Mm.
slammed it so hard, the part of the door, like when he, like the door, not the door handle, but like the thing like the lock goes into, that
Oh,
was, it clacked. So you could see like into the thing. And then you just hear, kick the bottom of the door. And all you can hear is, "Ow!" I was like, "So you okay?" He was like, "I think I broke my foot." I was like, "Do I need to call the ambulance?" He was like, "Yeah."
I chose
So
laugh, but
the guy sadly didn't get saved, but uh, I did.
you
He
left the gospel back on his doorknob, right?
yeah, I put it. I put it. I tried to put it in there and slid in his house in his trailer. So
What?
he came back and the track was there. So he may be saved now, but the Lord taught him a lesson.
Yeah.
Medical bills and a dole bill.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
this I was like probably 16, and I was still learning how to go thing, so it just caught me off guard. And it's one of the times I went by myself, and I didn't know what to do. But let's see, uh
Oh, one thing about while you're thinking about going out by yourself, if you do, I would, if I were you, I would never go inside with if it's just, especially if it's just a woman there.
oh yeah,
I mean, you already know that one. I don't know if you've had to experience any of those bad women, but some of them will try, not because they like you, but because they want to tarnish you.
oh yeah, that's something you have to watch out with just going by yourself is your testimony, because your testimony is sacred. And
Oh yeah.
I had times that I literally called people sometimes and say, "Hey, can you come out? I'm over here," because I just have bad feeling, and like I knocked on the door and the answer is like, "Hey, you want to come out?" I was like, "I'm okay. I'm by myself right now." It's like, "Can we just talk out here?" And it's like, "Nah, no." It was a lady. I was like, "Okay." And
Mm.
then and I leave a track at the door, and then text I text one of my friends on that. I say, hey, can you get like your mom or something to come over here sometime and knock on the door? Just there's different ways to protect with testimony, but like you said, never go into a even a room by yourself with an old lady just to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I learned the hard way one time to not go into people's houses.
Okay.
Like I was telling you about the weed brownies earlier.
Mm.
Another time I was with the same guy. Uh, we went into this lady's house. It was both of us. We had a camera. I don't. We might have had a camera filming us. I don't remember exactly. But she was nice. She had a lot of cats. Um, and she was like, "Hey, you want some lemonade?" I was like, "Sure." This is before I realized drinking, eating stuff up from people is don't do that. The lemonade looked off. So you
Did it
know
smell
how
bad?
it did. So I don't know if it was this Dottie Waddle or like I don't know what it was, but the lady that I know of doesn't I don't think she's saved. She after that, she wasn't saved at the point. She might be saved now. But to get the end of the story, me and my friend was sick for a week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And don't drink lemonade from people. I can't even. My dad loves lemonade, and he makes it every like he makes like a pitcher like like 3 times a week. I cannot drink lemonade now at all
Oh,
because of that. Like I just I don't. I make a joke because like of course like the Bible says save from all evil, and
yeah.
I was like I can't. I'm staying from all evil. That lemonade. uh, let's see. So on one of your notes it says record a video of yourself doing the gospel. And to that is like of course that's why I started this. My first ever video on true gospel is the free gift. It was on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And it was talking about the free gift, Jesus and that. And that's why I started this ministry is to spread it out and that. Do you have anything to add to that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and especially like there's a lot I could say on that. Like I would like if I was doing this, I've done it a few times, but record yourself saying it, like giving the gospel, but record yourself like the same notes, same presentation, but record yourself doing it at least 3 times, maybe five.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can look back and because your first one probably won't be good, but by that fifth one, you'll probably have a really good presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And um, then you can put it everywhere you want to. What I have experience with is running Facebook ads
Okay.
because I've tried YouTube ads and they cost more in from what I've seen. Like YouTube is one of those things that if a video does not perform well, like I've got a video I've tried like it did really well for like the first week. And
Mm-hmm.
it's on Noah's Ark, not salvation or anything. And I wanted to run an ad on it. I ran it for $25, went out to several thousand people. And I guess I'm getting a little too technical now, but anyway, uh, it I've tried running it again since then, and it won't go.
Okay.
It'll say running, but then it won't actually go up the view count on it.
Mm.
Um, so unless I spent like $1,000, then YouTube would take my money. Um,
Then use it.
yes, but Facebook, I prefer YouTube. I use it more, but Facebook. if you get the creative right, it'll go a lot farther. Because um, I spent, I think it was $8 on an ad for our church,
Hmm.
and it depends. You have to have the right post. I boosted a post, and some boosts do well, some don't. But I got one, and I spent $8 on it, and it brought in 100 followers for the page. Yeah. So I left it running for until I spent $20, and then I narrowed it down because so it would be closer to home. And so I made the anyway. Long story short is several hundred people discovered the our church's page because of that.
There you go. And
Yeah.
I be honest, I never knew about these ads at first. And my buddy in school, he was like, "Have you ever like ran an ad for one of your videos?" I was like, "No, you can do that." He was like, "Yeah, you just spend a couple dollars and you can get a couple hundred people watching on that." And I made a Bible Way to Heaven one day, and I thought, shoot, I can, I guess, make an ad and hopefully people can see it. And I think, let's see, I think it's about 250 now.
50. Wow.
Yeah, it's not. Let's see. I think 244, and I posted about a month ago. So
Okay.
I think I spent $10 on it. It was at like 3 views. Now it's at two, and then now it's at 244. So it's not as much as like I think one of my videos. My I think my biggest video right now is 1.4K views, and
Oh,
that me screaming God. I think it was my latest sermon I did Sunday night, and it was about solving God instead of like the example was because I used to play football. I was like I knew people who played college football and they live for football, 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 and then I was like, well, we should live for God, 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 and I think even on Facebook it has like 1,000 views, and I was like, goodness gracious, they now they just know me as a hate preacher.
well, if you have you clipped that and turned it into a short or a reel?
Yes, I made it, and that's what that it's just literally just that. That's what it
Oh,
has.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because that would perform well. At
yeah,
least, yeah, like that. Yeah.
yeah. I clicked multiple things on that Soman, and it like five because I made I think 10 or 15 of those clips. About 10 of them has at least 700 views,
Wow.
and then um the what some of them only has like 6 views, and then some of
Wow.
them has 1.4K views. So it's just like off and on. And that I just encourage just like how you were saying, just record yourself spreading the gospel or
Yeah.
saying the gospel and just post it. Because like I
Mhm.
have a friend, they did a Bible they was trying to do like a Bible lesson. And one of the videos is 7K views.
Wow.
And it was I forgot the title of it. I think it was talking about the Lord's with you or something. I think it's like thou O Lord or something like that. And it just caught me off surprise. I was like, oh man. And it just encourages me. And it will if you keep posting about the Lord and like doing it, it will encourage other people. Like me and Jaden was talking about is like seeing people saved or seeing people spreading the gospel will encourage you to go out more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen an ad or from any Baptist church
Mhm.
until recently. Usually, you only see the Mormon ads.
Yeah, I see that church in Mormon with those two ladies saying, "Oh,"
Yeah,
that I was like, "Grace,
it's
man, they
never
be
two men; it's two ladies.
yeah, it's always two ladies. They that's how they get the money."
Yeah, and if you talk to marketing experts, I know one, and he
Mm,
said they have used women to sell things since the beginning of time,
really?
and sell like what was the example? Like if like a coffee shop,
Hmm.
um, if it's a woman at the counter and they're serving guys, the guys will buy higher priced coffee from a woman than a man.
Oh, that's why women pastor churches are so big.
Yeah. And that's also why women are always in the beer commercials.
Oh, that makes
Uh,
sense.
'Cause, a man, if he drinks that beer and two women are on his either arm, like that ain't reality, but that sells.
Yeah. Maybe they think that when they get drunk. I don't know.
Well, yes, there was a guy that you can look this up. There was a guy who saw beer commercial, drank the beer, and he tried to sue the company because he said false advertising because nothing popped up. The success you promised did not appear. He tried to sue them. The
How
judge threw it out, of course.
you know what that reminds me of?
What?
You might have heard of this. The Red Bull commercial give you wings.
Yeah, I've seen a
Somebody
few, but which one you mean?
somebody sued Red Bull because they drank it, they didn't get wings. And I just thought this happened like 5 years ago. I think I was like, how dumb can you be? But hey, good marketing though, right?
Yeah,
And
and to be honest, no one really. They'd
oh
have to
yeah,
buy all new shirt.
oh yeah, oh you had to cut the old ones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. So on here it says like every domination who doesn't prioritize soul winning or their type of soul winning basically fails. Like we was talking about earlier about the Normans and like the two ladies. Like that's soul winning, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they
And
win.
they got people saved. Not really, like not saved, but got into the thing or like Jehovah Witness. Every time I knock on the door, they think I'm a Jehovah Witness. That's a good thing, but also a bad thing because with me, when somebody says I'm a Jehovah Witness, I was like, oh, you missed them. It was 5 feet away, and like I make a joke, and then they actually listen because of they don't want to talk to the Jehovah Witness.
Right.
But it just encouraged me hearing like Jehovah Witnesses and all that because they of course they preach in the false gospel, but it reminds me of this is why I need to go out because the false gospel and all that. And I had my brother won't be get mad if I show this, but he I had a Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door. And I was at home at the time. I was at
Mhm.
work or school or something like that. And my brother answered, he said, hey, what's up? Guess it was two ladies. First off. And he was like, what's up? And they was like, yeah, you want to hear about Tom of Jehovah? He was like, I don't. He was like, I don't need to know. My brother's a Baptist preacher. And he said he looked at them. He's like, okay. Can you get my name? Can I get your name and number? He's like, fine. And then like about 6 weeks later, they knocked again, looking for my brother. My mom answered.
Mhm.
She was like, what do you guys want? She was like, "Oh yeah, looking for Andrew." I was like, "How do you know my son's name?" He was like, she was like, he answered, and he was like, "Get out of here! My son is a Baptist preacher." And then about 6 weeks later, after that, they knocked on it again, and I answered the door, and I was like, "What's
Uh,
up?" And they went in the spiel. I was like, I know who you guys are. It's like, really? I was like,
I
you know
couldn't.
the she was like they was like how? I was like, the people who've been telling you the brother or the son is a Baptist preacher. I said, yeah. And this is me in I think sweatpants and a white t-shirt or something because I just woke up because it's like 6 a.m.
Wow. You're the first
It,
door they knocked on.
yeah. And my hair was like this, like it's like all messy. And I was like, yeah, I'm the Baptist preacher. And they looked at me. I was like, you don't look like it. I was like, yeah, I just woke up. You woke me up. It was like, oh, okay. Can I? I was like, I was like, it's okay. Can't I know you want to share something with me, but first I walked out and I grabbed me a track. Is can I share this with you? And then right when I said that, I handed them up and they walked away.
Yeah, they've been told by most of their leaders not to accept other literature.
Yeah. And now when I see that, like a couple days ago, oh, about 3 days ago, when I was knocking on some doors, I seen a Jehovah Witness what's it called? A pamphlet, and I took it out and I put mine in, and then I just read it to see like what it says in it. I don't. Some of them use KJV. Try say they use the KJV, and
Hmm.
some of them use I don't know what it's called. It's like a some different version.
I think it's the Living Translation.
I believe so, yeah. But like it caught me off guard one time because like it would say Living Translation and then KJV, and then they use like multiple versions of Bible.
Mm.
And I don't. That's something that always throws me off guard. That
They
makes no sense to me.
don't. Go
What?
ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, it even if there is a case to use different versions, I'm not saying there is, but if there was, it's not in a gospel track.
Oh
Because that's
yeah.
use the convert, you have limited type space, you can't have many words. You need to be very specific with what words you use.
Oh yeah. And I never because I when I got saved at 13 years old, and I grew up with the KJV Bible, and I was trained, I guess you could say, is this is a living word of God that you shouldn't change it. And I didn't even know about the NIV, nothing like that. And when I learned about it, I did some research, and I was like, what's the point of changing it? And then I found out about the Catholics
Mm.
in the Catholic Bible, and I was just off. I was like, what's the point? And I don't know if you have an answer. Like, why? I know, like, man just wants to make money. That's what my pastor says. That's why he does different versions. It's because man wants to make money, usually. But or like they are sin. Wait, they want to change, saying, "Oh, they're not sinful" or something like that. Do you have another answer, maybe?
Yeah, like that's the answer for the last 200 years, I think,
Yeah.
but not for all time.
Hmm.
Um, because like let's see, like the Latin Vulgate, it's the what they've used for years, and it's enough that like Martin Luther got saved from it,
Hmm.
but it's also got things that are wrong with it. And I mean, the I guess the main reason is control,
Yeah.
because the Catholic Church controlled it for 1,000 plus years, and so like the population couldn't read it, so they had to interpret it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I do know he did hear one other theory that reason uh, that this all happened because used to the priest was the most educated person
Hmm.
in town back in the Middle Ages when no one could read except the priest and a few other folks. So, but back when the Black Plague happened,
Hmm.
all the priests doing the rites for the dead, the priests got the Black Plague, so there were fewer priests. So they had to let in less qualified priests. And so the less qualified priests did not learn the Bible like they should. They might have only been able to know a few Greek or a few Latin things. And so that's a long answer to probably say that the Catholic Church lost its grip because they lost the manpower to teach it effectively. And after the Black Plague, and then so they lost control because they lost manpower, and so other people they had to invite other people in who did not always think like the church. Martin Luther was one of them. Um, let's see. Oh, Wycliffe. I can't remember his first name, but Wycliffe, he was
John
one.
Lithgow.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he they let him in and for some reason, and other people like him. They wait a second, was it Wycliffe? No,
Tyndale.
it was people like those. I can't
Yeah.
remember if they were all in the Catholic Church at this point or not, but people like them. The Catholic Church trained, and then they started studying on their own and like, hey, what the church teaches isn't what the Bible teaches.
And
And
that's where the 99 Thesis came from.
yep, and that's where the protesters came from, the Protestants.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that Protestant meant protester until I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd heard Protestants, it's just another flavor of church. As a kid, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And some people would consider us Baptists Protestant, but really we're not. We didn't come from because Protestant is a protest of the Catholic Church. So
right.
like Luther is I think even I believe Methodist Methodist
Technically, yeah,
no that, but we came from the anti-Baptist.
right.
So I guess you could consider us be Protestant, but really truly we are anti-Baptist.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I know people sadly like that are saved, but like are in the Catholic Church or in these like I know a guy who I was able to lead to the Lord recently. He's still in the what's it called? Not Presbyterian. Um, what's the one that the snake charmers speaking in tongues?
I can't think of any certain denomination that does that. I think it's just local denominations pick that.
Yeah, I forgot exactly. Starts with a P.
Presbyterian?
It might be. I don't. It may be Presbyterian, but it's I don't remember exactly. I'm probably I'm gonna remember this after we end it.
Yeah.
But a lot of like a lot of people sadly they don't they believe that we are sinners and like or they don't believe that we like what do you think would be the hardest to explain to somebody that we are all sinners or the people who believe they are too good for the Bible or people who think they are the worst people and they cannot be saved? Who
Um, who's easier to talk to?
yeah,
Definitely the guys who think they're too bad for the Bible.
yeah.
Those would definitely be the ones because uh, I'm like I know that they exist, that there are people out there who hear the gospel presentation, preachers try to witness to them and talk, and they still say I'm too bad for the Bible or
Hmm.
for to go to heaven. I know they exist, but I have never met one who
But
who was firm in that and was going to die on that hill. Um, but on the other side of saying I'm too good for the Bible, those people are a lot more common.
mhm.
The I don't know if narcissist is the right word, but definitely full of themselves.
Oh yeah, very prideful.
Yeah.
And I taught this in one of my videos is the biggest like a gate like I said like in one of my videos was it's just pride is like a gateway drug. It's a gateway sin. And like it goes into anything like sodomy or anything. It can pride can go into anything like salvation, like oh I have to do this, like in Ephesians 2, 8 through 9, it's saying no, you cannot do anything like it because it's literally just by grace you are saved for faith, and that it's not yourselves, it's a gift of God, not of works, least any man should boast. And with those type of people, I try to explain to that verse, and they was like, no, yes, it's not by works, but I still have to do something. And it was like, what?
Hmm. Yeah. Like like I don't know if it would be the best thing, but depending on the person, what I'd probably say is, yeah, you should do good things, but they don't earn your way to heaven because like the Bible, the closest thing in the Bible is after Christians are saved,
Hmm.
after we're saved, then the rewards we get in heaven, the crowns, the soul winner's crown, the pastor's crown, like like okay, you're saved, you're good, but you got to do these works if you want the rewards. You
Yeah.
can get in by the skin of your teeth if you want, but or you could get in and have a crown.
Oh
Really.
yeah. And like when I explained like with that same aspect, people is like that's they use that and it's like, see, this is why we have to do good works to be saved. Is because we have to get those crowns and rewards. I was like, no, you don't have to get that. Or like the guy on the cross, he got saved, right there by Jesus. Is he in heaven? He was like, well, yeah. I was like, why? It's because he didn't. He asked for forgiveness and then he died. I was like, what? Because like what most people like those most people say to walk for salvation is like, oh, I have to ask the Lord to forgive me every time, every night. And with they use that guy on the cross as an example. It's like, yeah, he died right after he asked for for forgiveness, so he's saved. Of course, he can't. He go, and that just never made sense to me. But what do you think?
Yeah. If someone kept talking about that and saying they have to work to get to heaven, let's see. It would depend on the person because like this idea wouldn't work with everybody, but like
Hmm.
you could say, do you think God wants you to live an anxious, very self-conscious, anxious, and have anxiety all the time in life? Do you think
Yeah,
God wants you to have that? The answer, they're going to say no.
yeah,
And uh, I mean, anxiety has a purpose and all. And you don't want to be happy and roses all the time, but
yeah.
and you don't want to live in anxiety too long because I mean, that does, it's not fun.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so when they say the no, then it'd be like, well, if you have to ask God to forgive you after every single thought, every single little bad thought, every single little deed, um, you know, like that, you're going to be really anxious if you're asking forgiveness and asking God to save you, 500 times a day. You're going to be super anxious that if I don't say this right now, I'm going to die and go to hell because I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
And it's
And
like, yeah,
and
okay.
like
Go ahead. It's fine.
people, we sin and we won't even know it because there's different sins. Like not going sowing is a sin out of that. So it because we are a sinful man. We always gonna be sinning. So, but people may not understand that. I kind of cut you off on accident, but
Oh, it's okay. That was relevant to what we were talking about. There's an added thing like this is kind of going on a tangent slightly, but uh like I heard one preacher say um like we should like we turn he this was the other side of things. We try not to sin, but he
hmm
said, I'm not worried about sinning. I am I am a saved Christian.
hmm
I am being so I'm trying to keep myself filled with the Spirit, filled with God, and always keep my mind on Him because um, the more I'm in touch with God, the less I sin. Um, like it's even the secular scientists, people who don't believe in God, have proven this. Like if you tell yourself, Don't think of pink elephants. Don't think of pink elephants. Don't think of pink elephants. You're gonna think of pink elephant. You can't
Mm,
like mentally. It's just human. That's the way humans work. You cannot focus on a negative. You have to focus on a positive. Uh, and that's not self-positive mumbo jumbo. It's like you literally, if you are focused on, I don't want to, I better not click on pornography. I better not click on pornography. I better not set use cuss words. You're going to be self-conscious and accidentally do it. But if
mm.
you're focused on God, focusing on Him and your mind's on Him, you're less likely to do that.
And like that truly does make sense though. If you literally, like it says in the Bible, we should focus on God. But it's if we just don't focus on sin and focus on God, then we will sin less.
Yeah,
And like and it just makes, like you said, scientifically it makes sense, and it spiritually makes sense. Like after we are saved, we really, yes, we're going to still sin, and we're going to sin every day. So, and there's nothing we can do about than just try to sin less.
right.
And the purpose of our life is to tell other people about Christ and to tell and to live for Christ. Like in Romans, not Romans, Philippians 1:21, it says, "For me to live is Christ and to die is gain." And just
Mhm.
remember, we should just live for Christ. And if we die, we die. We get to be in heaven.
Yeah,
So, of course, people in our lives may be sad
right.
when we die, but they should be happy when we die because we are in heaven. Like
Yeah,
I'm in like I've been to multiple funerals to people that's been saved or that's all saved and people that wasn't saved. And like I would like we just had a recent one about 6 months ago, I think. And I seen multiple people. And the people who I knew they was saved and the person that passed away was saved. I seen them being all happy. And I was like, "What's up? Why are you so happy?" He's like, "He was going for this, or she was going for this." And like she was unhappy and she passed away. And yes, it's sad I missed them, but now they have healthy and they in heaven now. And then I would walk up to somebody that's I know that's not saved, and they crying and they are sad and make sense. The person passed away they're very close to, and they just don't. They just think, oh, he's in the ground. So you will never see him again. But as believers, we know we will see him again that one day. So I know I kind of went to a tangent right there, but
it was a tangent to my tangent.
but let's see. You got anything else to add?
Um, on that topic, Charles Spurgeon, he's been quoted a lot. I don't know if he said this, but I've been told he did. Uh, on sinning, like you can't stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop him from making a nest in your hair.
Mm.
Um, like you can see a billboard with a naked woman on it, and you'll see it there, and like, man, sorry, God, I didn't mean to see that. But if you start keep mulling it in your mind, letting it build a nest there, then yeah, that's the wrong where you go wrong.
Oh
Even David
yeah.
and Bathsheba, like David, he saw that woman. If he'd left immediately, he would have been okay. But he looked and he looked, and then he desired and kept
Oh
looking.
yeah. David's is a very good example for a Christian to go because there's some parts of his life is that's what you're supposed to do, and then like Bathsheba moment right there, something we shouldn't do. It
Hmm.
just shows with David he's a human. We all going to do not that of course not exactly that, but we all going to sin, and we have to choose Are we going to let that sin consume us or let God consume us? And yes, we all have like I was at a youth conference, I think 3 years ago, I think maybe four, and the thing was about strongholds, and it talked about porn, it talked about on our phones, it talked about sports, it talked about like all these different things that can be strongholds in our lives, and like that can hold us in sin. Like it talked about pornography and like how it can dig in your head and you just thinking about something random and it just pops up right in your head. And like you said, like with the billboard, like yeah, you can see it say, "Oh, sorry, Lord, I wasn't trying to think that. I'm sorry." But if you just keep letting it fix in your head like that, and then that's not good.
Yeah.
And just like in sports, that too. I don't know. Do you like sports?
I did. But after I got out of high school, I stopped playing them, and I don't really watch them either.
Hmm.
Um, I'm bad about that. I like playing them more than watching them.
Yeah. And for me, like I I never really cared for watching sports or playing sports until my freshman year of high school. Then I played all of them.
Okay.
I played football, rugby, and then I did wrestling all in the same year. We good at we good at now. I got bad knees. I got like 3 concussions
Oh,
on that.
wow.
But that's besides the point. Um, I love like playing the sports. I love watching the sports, and I got away from reading my Bible. I got away from playing. I got away from going soul winning and all that. And then just most recently, probably this year or even last year, probably a couple of years ago, I put away football. I put away these, I guess you could say, strongholds, and I started reading my Bible more. This is my, believe my fourth time reading from the Bible in a year, and it just gave me a stronger, closer walk with the Lord after putting them away. Yeah, I still watch football maybe once 3 months or something, watch a clip or something. But I kind of stopped watching it. I really don't care for it as much. Like I like the in the lap is coats. I said that wrong. But like I still remember when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. And that
Oh,
was when I was born,
wow.
2006. But I used to have a DVD with that Super Bowl, and I used to watch it every day,
Wow.
wanting it to happen again. And I was very, I guess you could even say addicted to football, to rugby, and all that. And I would just say I'm a personal example is I'm just glad I got away from that. And that's it. Like you probably would say is like the best way to walk with the Lord, best way to have a strong relationship is to read our Bibles and to pray and that. And I know like the Lord has called me, if you've seen back here, to
Australia.
Australia. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the Lord called you to go out, like I think you said you've been to 20 states now, right?
Yes, sir.
And going on using the I forgot what the ministry you are in, Bible Fundamental Baptist. I'm sorry,
It's
got
okay.
bad memory.
Fundamental Baptist books.
Yeah,
And yeah.
they use you using that, and have you talked about that yet?
I mentioned starting it, or
Mhm.
not starting. I mentioned getting into it and how long I've been doing it, but I didn't say what it was.
Oh yeah, we probably should explain that, right?
If anybody has watched this video the whole way through, you are a superstar.
Yeah.
Waited that long for this question. Oh,
Uh,
that's funny. It's a the easiest, like if you like the way I describe it to secular people who don't know anything about church,
mhm.
I tell them It's like the book fair you had at elementary school, except it's Bibles and Christian books, not
Mm.
Captain America or not Captain America comics and Magic Treehouse. Uh,
Uh,
but then for Christians, I say it's it's a Bible and book ministry that we travel all across America, and we set up Bibles and books in churches. Some of them are really big churches, like with lots of people. Other times, they might only have 15, 20 people in there, but
yeah,
go into several.
yeah. I know you. You guys. I know Jaden. I forgot his last. I know his last. I can't pronounce it either. I can't pronounce none of you guys' last names. But Jaden, I know he helps y'all with that too.
Yes, sir.
And I just think it's a blessing with that because like there's so many books, secular books that's talking about magic or talking about Harry Potter or this random stuff, and like it's not really Christian books or that, and to learn more about it.
Mhm.
So so
And
is it only fiction books or is it non-fiction? No, wait, I said that wrong. Is it only non-fiction books and stuff about the Bible, or is it like fiction books like Pilgrim Progress and all that type of stuff?
yeah, we have Pilgrim's Progress, Fox's Book of Martyrs. Um, Fox was a historian, kept
Hmm.
a list of people who died for Christ. Very good book. Of course, I'm going to say that about all of them. Um, but then we have books about people who have had good marriages and they've been married 30 plus years. And they
Hmm.
wrote books on marriage. So we have those. Some same thing with child books for raising kids, devotionals for every age group, adults, teens, kids, um, and then commentaries on the Bible to help learn more about the books and more about the books of the Bible. Uh, and most of the like preacher books, and but we do all, like, to answer your question fully, we do have some fiction books as well, like Pilgrim's Progress is one of them, and then there's the Terrestria Chronicles. um, that's like Pilgrim's Progress, but it's written in modern day language,
Mm.
and the author's still alive. And if I could point out one of his books that I really like, and I tell people this all the time who are looking for something on the book of Revelation, because he wrote a book called The Great War. It's Ed Dunlop. And that book is on par with a college course on Revelation that I took.
Really?
Yes. Like, I read the book just for fun, because I like reading fiction. And I like about a fourth, or either it was like a third the way through it or halfway through it, I thought, I know all this. I just took a course on this 6 months ago. And it was a review of the whole thing. And I'm like, this guy stuff, and he interweaved, it's not an info dump either. It's he interweaved the book of Revelation into the story, because it's a fictional character and his family. And I, if I remember the story right, um, it's about a man and his wife. They had a child. The child was really cute and all, and then the child died in war or sickness or something. And the mom got bitter, and the dad was trying to help her. And it's all throughout the story, and uh, it interweaved it really, really well. I mean, like I think it's like in the first chapter, it even mentions two angels.
No.
Two angels are talking to each other. One angel, he swoops down, stops by them, and says, "Hey, I'm reporting for duty. I've been on a mansion construction duty for the last 4,000 years. Uh, what's my next assignment?" And he says, "You're to guard this castle here." And he starts talking about, uh, like, I mean, it's just really cool. Like, these angels are talking about the stuff from that's going to happen
Hmm.
and what's happening here. Like, so many people are losing their way. They're leaving God's castles and going to the devil's, things like
Okay.
that. So I should probably stop right there. But on that book, anyway. But yeah, there's lots of great books we have.
So speaking of that, how could you combat somebody who's letting fables or something like that, like different gospels on that get into their lives? Like how can you, like, let's say somebody says to be saved is you have to be baptized to be saved. How can you combat that?
Well, the easiest one in the Bible to turn to is the guy on the cross who got saved, you mentioned. Like he never had a chance to get baptized.
Oh yeah.
And then uh I mean that should answer the problem most of the time
Hmm.
for that one issue at least. Some people will still say, "Oh no, that was a special occasion." Or like, okay, well, uh, I mean, so there's other passages like the one with Philip baptizing the Ethiopian eunuch,
Oh yeah.
um, because it's missing in all the other versions. That one verse, but it's in the KJV. He talks about like, "What doth hinder me to be baptized?" And he said, "Do you believe that in Jesus?" I can't remember the exact word for word. And he said, then the Ethiopian eunuch says, "Yes, I believe in Jesus, that he's the Son of God." And then he's baptized. What doth hinder me to be baptized? Belief. Yeah. And so, I mean, there's several Bible passages. I'm not an expert on that topic,
Hmm.
but I do know there's like those are the two verses I would look up the most. And if somebody's still obstinate with that, I mean, you'd be like, well, dude, what do you want from me? I mean, I've showed you two verses in the Bible. Will you, and you don't believe them?
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, I do believe the Bible." No, you don't. It's right here. Uh,
Yeah. Because some
that's,
people, oh, sorry.
but, oh,
Some
sorry.
people,
As I was saying, that's not the best answer. That last one, at least.
yeah. Some people just want to debate, and that's,
Yeah.
you can't really, with debating is like, you can't really debate somebody to salvation. That's what my pastor says.
Yeah. Debating is for fun when you're bored or
Yeah.
wanting to learn from each other. If you're
Oh, yeah.
learning from each other, that's different. If someone's debating because they're trying to make you learn something, I wouldn't fool with them.
Oh, yeah.
I give them the gospel or at least a track and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I,
if they're a know-it-all, no one likes a know-it-all.
oh, yeah. I had about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was knocking on a door and there's a Presbyterian pastor.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Hello, soul. Are you having a good day?" And then I go in the gospel. He's like, "Yeah, faith without works is faith without works is dead." He quoted James, I think 5:12. So
Yeah.
someone James. I was like, okay. I was like, if you go actually into the Bible, and then I realized what I was doing. I was getting into the debate. My buddy, my sewing partner, nudged me. I was like, I realized what I was doing, but while I was going this, I was like, okay, have a good day, so I'll beat that track because this is what I really saying. But while I was going to tell him, I was like, what this verse? Because my pastor just preached on this, literally
Okay.
5 hours before, but 2 hours before, before this, and faith without works is not saying salvation. It's saying nobody can see your faith if you have no works.
Right.
You can get to heaven with the skin of your teeth, but nobody will know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I just thought of something when you said that. Like Jesus said, it all it takes is a faith of mustard seed, but no one can see that mustard seed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you and God know it's there, but no one else.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny how you you talked about that. That's one of the voices how I got saved was,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was my pastor was preaching at or teaching at it preaching is at the team revival, and he talks about the mustard seed. I don't know if I told Pastor about that yet, but I have a from one of the Hal Anderson's missions conferences. It has a little seed. Yeah, check that out. It's this right here, and it's they actually have a little mustard seed right here,
Oh yeah, those are cool. I haven't
and
seen them like that.
yeah, and and it has the voice on it, and it just reminds me that that's all the faith you need to be is to be saved. And yes, of course we should go get have more faith in this small little seed right here,
Yeah.
but that's all you need to be saved. Actually, even smaller than this little seed. So,
Mhm.
you got any last things to conclude?
Okay. Let's see. Um. Uh. Well, before I get to that, let's see. Oh, what I was gonna say earlier. You mentioned Jaden. The book he's working on a Bible on a book cover for that.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, he's currently doing that right now. It's a book called The Price of a Coconut. And what is the price of a coconut? Well, the world will tell you at that time it was 10 cents back in the 1890s. Kid was gonna this it's a true story, and of a guy. He used to tell his story as an adult everywhere he went, so he finally wrote it down. When he was like 10 years old, he had 10 cents and he wanted to go buy a coconut. He'd heard they were delicious. Right? No, he had had one once and really wanted another one. And he got to the store and God said, "Don't buy it." And God said, "Buy the New Testament right here." And so he bought it. And the he went outside and just 5 minutes later, he ran into this other kid. And he ended up giving him that New Testament. And then 10 years later, it shows what happens, how that little New Testament changed countless lives. Because that guy, he gave it to his mom, and his mom read it every night to his dad. And the dad finally got saved. Then the mom got saved. Then the whole family got saved. And then their community got saved, and it kept going.
Yeah, and that's the ripple effect right there.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
that's the price of a coconut.
yeah.
10 cents to win a whole community and
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Um, and so Jaden's working on a book cover for that. So,
That's awesome.
oh yeah, I'm hoping it'll do real well and folks will really like it. Because I know pastors, the one like the copies we do have, they'll like one of them, he'll buy 10 copies every time he sees me, gives them
Really?
away to everybody. Um, yeah. Um,
You can say the price of this book.
yes. Yes. After he gets the cover set, I'll actually be able to tell whatever price we'll have to charge for it.
Mhm.
Because it will the printer won't know the cost until we get it all set up and typeface.
Oh,
Yeah, so could be $4, could be six. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Um, but something else I guess I could say real quick on soul winning. There's a quote here, D.L. Moody.
Hmm.
It's not about what you can accomplish; it's about what you can put in motion for the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, like you may never see the results. I can't remember the guy's name, but I met a man and he had met another man. He met several people and they say, I got saved after a guy on this street in Australia gave me a track.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah, Sydney, Australia, yeah.
Do you know this story?
Yeah, my pastor talks about it all the time.
Oh, okay. The guy was passing out tracks for 50 years and he never seen anybody get saved.
Mhm.
That's the one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he was, I think he was dying or something, and everybody was
Yeah,
doing the testimonies. Yeah,
wow,
that
that's an
I
amazing story. Maybe I heard it at from your pastor.
no, yeah, and y'all should come visit one more time.
Yeah, definitely. I've been meaning to talk to pastor about coming.
Hmm.
In fact, I actually tried calling him at one point, but it was right after I think his dad passed away. So
Uh,
uh yeah, I got busy and forgot to after
mhm.
that because I didn't want to text him during that time.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
but now I just need to get around to doing that.
and this is telling Pastor right now. Caleb Nichols is coming soon.
Yeah. Then you just say, share this to pastor there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
uh,
that'd be great.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, what's his face? Jaden visited us a couple weeks ago. Went up to True Woods
Oh,
as well. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. And it's just great that y'all. I don't know how you guys met, but it's just great that how y'all two met and y'all came here, and then it just, I guess you could say the Whippo effect, because y'all kind of had help, was one of the people who helped me start this YouTube channel as well. Because I saw Jaden's channel, and then I was like, oh, cool. And then I got talking to you. I saw your Facebook, and then I saw this, and I said, oh, I can probably do that. It doesn't look that hard. Then I
Oh,
realized it was pretty hard.
yeah. There's a lot to it, but I mean,
Yeah. And then and with that is like I have multiple people now at my churches doing it now.
really,
Yeah.
that's great.
And I'm like my buddy Andrew, he was making a joke to me a couple weeks ago because he started his channel too. It's called Life of the Bible, and
Oh,
he was like, "Yeah, I got more subscribers than you." He had like a 200 at that time. I had maybe 100, and I'm calling him out now. I
oh
got
yeah,
I got more now. No,
yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's fine. Just
Yeah.
gotta say, hey, it's friendly banter.
Oh yeah.
You can, encourage each other to
Oh
teach
yeah.
each other.
Yeah, and we got a joint account now too called the Biblical Bolos, and
Okay.
you have to come on that sometime too.
All righty. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
And then it's be three people on there, right?
yeah. Now it's the Biblical Amigos.
Biblical amigos. Oh no. At least not the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Uh,
uh, that's funny. I guess what do you want to leave us off on?
let's see. I wrote something down here. The more people or the more times you share the gospel with people, even if they don't accept it right then, the more chances you'll have that someone will get saved. The more seeds you plant, the more crop you'll get. Bible says that, and Bible's always true on that. And remember the rich man and from hell in Luke 16. At the end, when he's in hell and he can't get out, he says, send Lazarus back that he can witness to my brothers. He got real interested in soul winning and witnessing, but it was too late for him. So witness while you can, because you know the harvest will come and you can't plant anymore.
Amen. Um, that we're gonna leave off of that, and I guess I love you guys, and thank you, Bolo Caleb, for coming on. Hope I see you again, maybe even at Vision Valley one day
Yeah,
again.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
It's been my pleasure.
yes, sir. See ya.
See ya.